Good morning, folks. Nice to see you all here. Thank you for joining us today. Very excited to have you for our workshop on Omnichannel Excellence, Stepping, Striding, or Leaping Ahead. Hope there's not too many sore heads in the room tonight, this morning, sorry, from last night, or sore feet from all the dancing. As you were saying, there's some serious shapes being thrown around yesterday. And we will be getting you on your feet later on in the session, but more to be revealed. I'm Nick Fletcher, Director from our Vynamic London office. This is my esteemed colleague, Jack Young, Senior Director from the London office. And as you can see, our topic for today is going to be Omnichannel, one that you're very familiar with, I imagine, over the last 24 hours or so. We're just going to start today by just noting that Omnichannel sometimes is a nebulous topic, right? If we asked everyone in this room, we may get very, very different definitions across the group. But what we're ultimately talking about here is customer engagement, as has been discussed earlier throughout the conference, and how we use omnichannel tactics to enhance that customer engagement and deliver further impact to our customers. So, we are from Vynamic. We're healthcare management consultants that sit within Inizio Advisory. Most of our work is in the life sciences space, but we do work across other healthcare sectors as well. And this is obviously one of our key focus areas at the moment, which is why it's been such a focus over the last couple of days as well. So in terms of how we're going to run today's session, we are going to go against the grain a little bit. We're going to try not be too slide heavy. We want people to be up on their feet, and we think in the room there's some amazing minds. You all have your expertise in SME areas around customer engagement. So we want this to be about cultivating a space for open, interesting conversation, and really for you guys to have something tangible to take away from the sessions today. So we're going to start off just spending a few minutes on our point of view, what we're seeing in the industry at the moment, working with our clients in this space. And then we are going to go into the meat of the session, which is going to be a group activity, more to be revealed there shortly. And then we are going to do a quick wrap up at the end. So, does that sound good? Great, good energy in the room. As you'll see, I've just handed out some of these action cards. If anyone doesn't have one, please let me know. There's some at the front. I can come hand them out in a moment. But this is just, as we go through the conversation today, if there's any actions, key takeaways, no matter how small, note them down. And our challenge to you is to take these away to your own organizations and start to work on them. I think, again, we just want this to be about being action-focused, being tangible, because it's very easy to drain slides and not have anything come out of the back of them. So hopefully you're going to get some interesting ideas that come out of the conversation today. Just to set the scene slightly, why is there this distinct need to drive better customer engagement in life sciences, and why is it now? So you'll see some of these statistics on the slide here, right? 80% of customers say that the experience that they get through engagement with a company is just as important, if not more so, as the products and services that the company is selling. 93% of consumers are likely to make repeat purchases with companies that provide what they would call an excellent customer experience. And 44% of the time that a HCP rated an experience, a customer experience, it significantly improved their perceptions of the products that organization is selling. And it was mentioned in the first session downstairs today, but I think other industries and the consumer experience that people are getting from those other industries, the other companies that they engage with, is creating this benchmark, and expectations are being driven about what the customer experience should look like in healthcare, in life sciences. And we can see this retailization of healthcare becoming more and more prominent with the clients that we work with, and they're feeling the pinch there. So I'm handing over to Jack now, who's going to talk through some of the key levers we can start to pull.
Good morning, everyone. So yeah, we're going to be getting up on our feet very shortly, doing some workshopping, which I'm hopefully you're excited about. But I just wanted to set a little bit of context first. So Nick talked you through a lot about the why it's so important. I think we're all bought into that. I'm going to take you through a little bit of the what, and then you're going to help us with the how. So I'm not going to go through all of these, and a lot of these will be familiar through the conversations and presentations we've had over the last day or so. But this first one at the top there, data-driven mindset. Mindset is absolutely critical. It requires a huge mindset shift to go here in terms of embracing omnichannel excellence, and it's all anchored in data. Audience definition, so knowing your customers is critically important. I know a lot of people talk about it, but there's different ways in which you can do that, whether that be through segmentation or archetyping of different customers. It's really important to get a holistic understanding of your customers' needs across different domains. Once you've got the understanding of the customer needs, it's important to develop an end-to-end customer journey to map out the key pain points along that customer journey to identify strategies to be able to tackle and meet customers where they are. It also requires a lot of changes to processes in terms of streamlining, leveraging things like automation and AI to go towards a more omni-channel excellent focus and approach. And then the last one I wanted to call out here is around analytics and measurement. So it's very, very important that you measure the success. It doesn't have to be hundreds, it can just be a few, but some tangible measures to make sure you get ongoing feedback for your customers to evolve your strategies as appropriate throughout the omni-channel excellence journey. Next one, please, Nick. So in terms of Vynamic's omni-channel maturity model, a little bit of a caveat here. This is not all-encompassing. It's hopefully helpful to you. It's got 5 stages. It is linear across the different pieces. However, every organization's context is different. So it might be that you are accelerating and leading in terms of developing a 360 customer view. However, you're more foundational or developing in, say, the content creation. And that's okay. This can help contextualize and see which bits you might want to advance, and going back to our title of our presentation, which bits to potentially step, stride, or leap in. So hopefully it's helpful, and it's going to be up on the wall as we go into our workshop activity. You don't have to use it, but it's there as a reference point, and something you can take away as well in terms of the maturity model for omnichannel. So I'm going to hand back over to Nick, who's going to walk us through just some very brief instructions in terms of the activity we're going to be doing before wrapping up.
Thank you, Jack. So, it's your turn. This is the brief here in front of you is actually based on a real-life example, a real-life case study that we ran with one of our clients not too recently. And using some of the key outputs from that, we've helped design this session. So, what we're going to do, I think given the numbers in the room, we can probably just have the one group, right, Jack?
Yeah.
I think we're going to just break into one group. But the brief is that at a global life sciences organization, the executive team have noted the need to enhance or design and deliver a enhanced customer experience given the increased number of products that are coming down the pipeline. As we've heard, there's no such thing as a medical omnichannel experience or a commercial omnichannel experience. There's omnichannel engagement. So this needs to be cross-functional in nature, combining those functions and otherwise. And they've mobilized you as a cross-functional team, as a cross-functional task force to evaluate this challenge, come back with the answers to some key big questions, strategic questions to guide the journey, but with the goal here being to design and establish a more meaningful and personalized experience to support launch objectives. So what that means, there's 3 key questions we have on the slide here, and we have these on A0s at the back. We're going to go through these sequentially, one by one. We're going to give you a couple of minutes to just think through your own organizations, your own situations for each one of the questions. We'll note down on Post-its your top 1, 2, then we'll move on to the next. And the questions here are, so what are the key challenges and roadblocks we anticipate we'll face? How might we address these challenges? What do we need to be successful? And one question that we love to ask in all client engagements, whether it's omnichannel or otherwise, is what's the smallest thing that we can do right now that's going to have the biggest impact? So that alludes to the stepping idea that Jack was talking about. It could be a tiny thing, but it might have an exponentially large impact with their customers. And just a tip there, think about your own organization, think about your own client work, things you've experienced to date. Make sense? Okay, I'm going to ask you to get up. And I think we're going to come over here, right, to this one?
Yes.
We did have one over here.
So just spend, as Nick was saying, we'll tackle the first one first. So what are the key challenges? You can think about the case study. We'll put that back on the screen, or your own organizational context. Just write 1 or 2 things around that, and then we'll have a look at that and go to the next one.
Okay, so do you want to hand out some pens?
Yeah.
I can do the Post-its.
There you
Got some here.
Okay. There you go.
Don't be shy, guys.
There you go. Hi.
There you go.
Hi. There you go.
Do you want to take some, pass it along? Jack's got some pens for you, yeah.
More pens. Hi, Christina. Yeah, sorry, mate.
No worries. And on the back.
There you go.
Anyone need some post-its?
Do you need one?
Share.
There you go.
Okay, so just on your own for a couple of minutes, please come around. Thinking about that first question. Oh, we've gone too far. The challenges that we think we are going to face, the roadblocks that we anticipate we're going to face when tasked with establishing this enhanced customer experience. So keep it to, top one or two, and then we can have a look and synthesize some of our thoughts and then move on to the next one.
And any questions, just give us a shout. Do you want to put the case study back on?
Yeah, let's do that.
Can you make a bit more specific, like what is the product launch scenario? Like what is the unmet need? Or is there a specific challenge, or we just have to think what could be the challenge?
So I think there's a number of products coming down the pipeline. I'm building in some fictitious scenarios now, but think about from pre-launch through to post-launch and how you may need to think about stuff like proactive patient identification, getting guidelines passed, providing better scientific exchange with HCPs who are going to be managing these patients and things like that.
Yeah, this was a real life case. It was a massive pharmaceutical company. They had a load of launches, particularly in the oncology. I think they had sort of 20, 30 indications over a couple of years, time horizon. So they're under a bit of pressure in terms of like capacity, where to focus resources, an example. And they were quite a risk-averse they are a very risk-averse organisation. So there was a lot of siloed working between commercial and medical, so there wasn't a lot of collaboration there. So they really needed some help in terms of breaking down those silos, and helping being efficient in terms of where to focus and all their big bets and their resources to be able to address all these product launches that were coming down the pipe in a short space of time. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So was one of the challenges to align the functions?
Yes.
Yep.
One of the first
Getting
things we had to do.
collaborating.
Around messaging as well?
Sure. Yeah. Designing key messages, stakeholder archetypes, segmentation strategy, and then
reuse of the same message throughout.
right, exactly, and then thinking about some of the foundational capabilities that underpin this around content, channel strategy, all of those components too.
There you go.
All right. Any other challenges that we want to post up on the wall?
Spend like 1 more minute here. Anything you've got, just come and pop it on the wall, please.
Common theme this last 24 hours.
Would anyone like to share what they put?
Sure, yeah. I said not having enough data to orchestrate customer journeys,
Yeah.
often a barrier. And the other one is resistance to cross-functional working to produce and execute one plan.
Right.
Okay.
Centered on the customer.
Nice.
So I've got one, I guess, follows up slightly to that, is so too many systems are not integrated, so data is quite fragmented in order to get anything meaningful out of it, that you can then use to tailor what you're going to do.
Like it. Yeah, that's a common challenge.
Anyone else want to share?
I've got competing priorities, because as a business there's always something else that needs to be done. So how do you align the silo functions on that piece?
And capacity of the team as well. Yeah.
You had one as well?
Yeah, I put in FOLO, so basically, particularly from the field folks.
Yeah. That was mentioned.
They're going to resist that a lot.
Technology taking their jobs, that kind of mindset, or otherwise?
Yeah, and even speaking from personal experience, there are some people who are just going to say no and close their eyes no matter how much you try to explain.
Sure.
Yeah.
Set in their ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can?
Yeah.
Of course.
So we have two. One is unmet need, because if you are launching a new product and doctors don't see the need for this, treating this disease area, so this is most of the time this could be a problem to successful new product launch. So we need to work on that. And resistance to omnichannel approach. we still live in a world where field force is like main channel and focuses on field force, but if you miss omnichannel approach with the new product launch, you will have difficulties in reaching your goals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Amplifying the impact of the field.
Yeah, and I want to build up a little bit on the first thing that you said. One is the so that the physicians recognize the unmet need, but it's also from us that we understand what they need, like what's the key thing that they want to address, and then we ensure that is addressed in our approach. And then the other thing I put is just making sure that, like, if you have a lot of launches and you're doing a cross-functional thing, that just the alignment and maximizing the impact of each of those investments and the efforts across the product is quite difficult, I think.
Yeah, quarterbacking the whole thing. Okay, shall we move on to the next one? Sorry, go on.
Sorry,
Yeah?
I have one last. I added actually a real challenge that we face very often from a medical point of view, that when we talk about digital channels, there is always a compliance, and especially in many countries, you know, you want to do an activity and compliance stops the innovation there.
So I mean, that's a great point, and so I guess that's a good segue into the next one. So, like, what are you doing to help address that within your organisation?
Just keep putting pressure.
Compliance love to say no.
Ask
It's,
again.
yeah, ask again.
Turn up to their house.
But it's a good point. It's like business partnering with compliance team, right? Having that strong advocate, finding that strong advocate in the compliance team to help you turn the needle
You
there.
always have to keep very close connections with them and keep them updated.
Mhm.
And connecting early with them, I think, is
Yeah.
quite
Yes,
crucial
early in
to
the
solve
process.
the problem, and then
Because it takes time.
Creating the solution from the
Yeah,
start. Exactly.
they're involved in
Yeah.
co-creation.
And it depends on the country. So, for example, some countries, no matter how much pressure you put, they won't.
More risk adverse as well,
Yeah.
a lot of the time. Yeah.
Have you got a pen?
I don't have a pen.
No, thank you. I'll just write these down. So is there any more solutions? We think about competing priorities, or maybe the siloed working. Any ideas around solutions? So we've got the compliance piece around early engagement. Any other ideas?
I think a really solid change management
Mhm.
approach
Yeah.
needs to be put in place, designed and put in place, so everybody understands why
Yeah.
all of these things are important,
Mhm.
and therefore that provides the platform to solve a lot of these things if they understand what they're trying to do and why it's important.
And we heard about the importance of a vision up front, right? And then a vision that everyone's aligned behind. So a co-created vision, and then using that
and
as
if
a
you don't
platform.
do it in the context of the launch,
Mm-hmm.
what could happen?
Right.
If you don't address these things, you don't launch successfully.
Yeah,
What could
Again,
happen
we
is kind
heard-
of that burning platform of
absolutely.
I would also put involving customers early, like the voice of customers.
It's a really good point. Yeah.
Linked to the vision as well, I'd say, like having like one or two key metrics that matter, like
Mhm.
hundreds of measures,
Yeah.
essentially.
And we talked about the unmet need. So how can we leverage real-world data to understand where the unmet need is? Because pharma companies just don't have infinite resources, people or otherwise, right? So where do we find where the greatest unmet need is, where we can have the biggest impact?
And I will add also one more challenge, the budget, because
Mm-hmm.
we keep talking about, you know, understanding the unmet need, and that means that most of the times you have to invest a lot of money on, you know, doing some research or, you know, working with an agency to do a social media listening analysis and so on, and that adds to the budget of the launch. And most of the times you wanna do a lot of things, but then in the end they give you the budget and you're like, okay, I have to prioritize. So
Ruthless prioritization, isn't it? Yeah. Again, where can you have the biggest impact?
I wonder with the data point whether it's useful to define a short, medium and long-term
Mhm.
plan for that. You know, what can you do, what are the one or two things that you could do in the short term
Yep.
to help you get some acceleration in the launch? What do you need medium term so you can lay the foundations for that, and then long term, ultimately, where do you want to get to and what would you need?
Yeah.
Rather
Yeah.
than just trying to do everything
For sure.
at the same time, because it can just be too overwhelming.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Any
Any
other
other solutions to some of the challenges we've got here? I think we've covered a lot of them. Covered the data one, the cross-functional working, siloed thinking. resistance to the approach, that covered by the change management. What about the systems piece? So too many systems, what might be a potential solution to that, do we think?
I think you could run a consolidation exercise. You could have a look at what's actually being used in terms of the data points. We have so many systems. If you actually see when it was last logged in, might be 3 years ago. So
Right.
you probably don't need, multiple data systems.
So you need a lean exercise.
Mhm.
Yeah. See if you're using the current ones to their full potential before adding others on.
I wonder whether that goes hand in hand with the data piece to some degree.
Yeah.
I wonder whether, again, there's a short, medium and long term plan for that.
Like a 90-day.
Yeah.
I think linked
What's
to that.
the minimum that we need to go ahead with the launch, and then how can we build on it?
And regarding the platforms, I would add to also involve the field teams, because in the end, they're the ones using the data platforms, and they need
Totally. Yeah. I think linked to a lot of this stuff that's been discussed is the idea of, and this isn't just what we see with clients around omnichannel, it's any transformation, start small, figure out a place to pilot some of these capabilities. Through that, you demonstrate success and impact, and you bring people along the journey, which is what we were talking about with the change management piece as well,
We
right?
had a great example from Ferry in the main room before this, which was a fantastic session of doing just that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Start
that's
small.
One of the best I've seen.
De-risk. And find, I think it was mentioned yesterday, I can't remember the context, but find advocates that are excited to try it. Because having people engaged is probably the biggest challenge, right? Trying to force stuff on people who don't want to get involved is just...
And then having those almost like
champions.
kind of champions.
Yeah.
Kind of like what we do with our customers, but internally,
It could be a market, it could be a team, a brand team. You have to go and identify where those lie.
Right, any final solutions, the challenges, or any broader thoughts before we go on to the last one? Cool. So this is kind of a personal reflection again, which is like, what's the smallest thing you can do right now? So thinking about what we've discussed, perhaps leveraging the maturity model, or maybe you've got some inspiration for some of those challenges and solutions. Think about your own organization. What's maybe the one thing, max two, you could do that you think is going to give you the biggest impact? It could be something really small. Sometimes they're the things that can drive the biggest change.
Yep.
So perhaps reflect, write one on a post-it, and then just pop it up on the wall. Then we might ask one or two of you to share, and then we'll wrap up and get to coffee.
Anyone need any more post-its? We're good.
And I apologise for my handwriting.
Like the doctor's handwriting.
I'm left-handed. We will type this up if you wanted to copy afterwards.
Got a few going. We can also put them up for you if you just want to read them out.
We're hoping this is helping the hangover as well. Get you moving, clear the heads.
And then we can all go and
just
get
sat
coffee.
there like a measurement.
Yeah.
It's helping my back.
Who would like to share? Continue writing as we do back, but we have maybe 2 or 3 people share back. So who would like to go first?
I really liked the idea of partnering with early adopters to pilot,
Nice.
and then capturing those learns quickly and then scaling to others to encourage them to try something different.
Yeah.
So whether that's marketing, sales, whatever, whoever those roles are, I think that could be really, it's a nice
Change management
approach
piece. Yeah.
to use the ones that are really enthusiastic to then pull the majority
Yeah.
along.
And a first step there, breaking that down even further, could be how do we identify those adopters? What's the kind of profile that we're looking for? And then you can start to have conversations with leaders to identify where they sit in the business.
Yeah, I like that one.
Pushing against an open door. Really.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, there was a presentation yesterday where they did that. They rewarded people for failing forward, basically, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that's like an interesting approach I hadn't heard before. Anyone else like to share?
I actually used his idea.
Did you? Okay.
I thought it's super important, like the short-term, long-term, and mid-term planning, because if we're talking about a cross-functional team, most of the times that silos are created, it's because there is no transparency between what needs to be done and what is being done. So having that very clear document to say this is what we're planning to do, and the staggered approach, I think, creates a lot of transparency. And most of the times, this can have a big impact if you really know down everything.
And less scary breaking it down into more
Yeah.
bite-sized pieces, I
That's
guess, as well.
exactly it. I think it can become overwhelming if you're going for the full. Let's do full omnichannel here straight away. It's just too much.
It comes back to being a nebulous term, right? It's difficult to define sometimes, and I think breaking it down into things that people can relate to, that's half
That's
the
what
battle.
attracted me to this session. I think the title of just that kind of small, more manageable chunks,
Sure.
rather than trying to do everything in one go.
Yeah.
I think then you just get
Yeah.
people resisting and they get scared.
Yeah.
Totally.
And this is exactly what we're doing at Bayer at the moment, because we're actually adopting these 90-day cycles, and basically the team, and I've seen the difference between how we worked before and afterwards, because there is kind of like the need to present what we're planning to do in the next 90 days, and that really helps the team organize better, put everything in the plan, so it's forcing you to
Yeah.
be more
I get
clear.
that.
That's
really nice.
That's great.
I think it's all people first, right? I think it was Lisa that was talking about this yesterday, what they're doing at Teva. People first above anything. That's what's going to make or break it.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap up, because I know you're going to want some coffee. So do you want to go to the last one? So just really quickly then, so I hope you've enjoyed the session. I hope you've taken something from it. As Nick said at the start, I wanted to make sure this was action-orientated, engaging, so hopefully you found it helpful. Please do leverage those cards and write down. It's quite often when you have a session, you go away, a lot of things leave your head, particularly when you've got so much information you're ingesting over the last day or so. So take a moment, perhaps in the coffee break, to just write down a few thoughts of your own that you can take back to your organization. And our commitment to you is, if you would like the slides, if you would like a much prettier version of my handwriting in digital form and a nice presentation, please do scan that QR code. I promise you that won't be some kind of marketing opt-in. You'll just get the presentation from us. So please use that QR code to do so. And thank you very much for your engagement and attention.
Thank you, everyone.